Hello and welcome back. Today we've got another £200 of 10p's we're going to be hunting through. Looking for alphabet 10p's. We'll take a territory or a world coin, something interesting, but ideally we'd love a 2019 alphabet 10p because we've never completed the book. So far though, we've got ourselves A, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L and M. N, O, P, R, T, U, V and X. So any of the last 6 missing ones would be lovely. But those last 6 ones, as with all of the 2019 dated alphabet 10p's, are very low minted, scarce and hard to find. So we've got another 2018 book. This is in fact my third 2018 book. We are 4 coins off of finishing this one. D, J, R and W. So any of those 4 would also make for nice finds. So let's get into the bags and see what we find today. Okay then, whilst the coin hunt is ongoing, I'm going to be going through some comments recently left on my videos. If you get a random love and like from me, I've probably taken a screenshot of that comment to use in one of these future 10p Q&As. To get a question into me or a comment into me, all you need to do is leave a comment on a recent video, and I scroll through them each week and pick out a bunch to add into my bank of comments. Before we get into the questions though, I'm going to the Royal Mint tomorrow as of uploading this video, July the 6th. I'm on the 2 PM tour. I'll be there a little bit before and a bit afterwards, so if you're around and you want to come and say hi, feel free to. It's got the new Strike Your Own, the Royal Observatory, and I'm quite excited to get that. I would normally give a bit more notice before going, but I booked this fairly swiftish because I've just got this feeling it's not going to be Strike Your Own for very, very long. This is just my own opinion. I don't have any insider information. I just feel like it's a coin that came out in the annual set. It came out a while ago with its own individual release. I feel like we could potentially see a new coin become the Strike Your Own soon, so I wanted to get down quick whilst I had a free weekend. But yes, if you're missing me on this trip, then hopefully I'll get to catch you on the next one. Right, first comment comes from Sean Noon. Oh, sorry, Sean No One Will Ever Know 2205. Sorry, it was a little bit working out where the breaks in your username should have been there. It says, if you found an NIFC before you found a normal version of a commemorative when starting a new book, would it go into the book? So this is the 50p's, the 2019 restrike sets using older designs restruck in 2019 to celebrate 50 years at the 50p. For most of them, they're fairly common coins for the original circulating ones, so I don't think there's a good chance of them of finding the 2019 restrike before the original circulating version. So the one there is a chance of is that Kew Gardens 50p, because Kew Gardens are rare, hard to find. You might have heard of it before. So if I found a 2019 restrike Kew Gardens, of course that's going into the book, into that Kew Gardens spot. If I also then found circulating Kew Gardens, it might have to get swapped out, but I guess I would put the restrike one in as sort of a placeholder because they are kind of cool, aren't they? Carl Davis says, found my first £2 commemorative recently, 2003 DNA Helix. So you are all wondering, it was under the seat of an armchair that arrived from Singapore into Auckland, New Zealand. By the way, Christopher mentioned errors that occurred many years ago that have recently been discovered. In New Zealand, a $2 mule with 2p obverse, dated 2002, minted at the Royal Mint, was discovered recently. I've been looking for others. That sounds like quite a cool error coin. And yes, I mean, that DNA Helix, double helix, although a common coin here in the UK, I imagine it's not going to be that common of a find in New Zealand, especially one that has flown its way across on the seat of a chair. So well done on that find. Very cool. Stanzus says, hello Christopher, I am Stanley, the last letter you read out. Thank you so much for reading my letter out, and I smiled when I saw you read it. Well, thank you very much for writing in. I do appreciate it when people write into the PO box, and glad you're enjoying the videos and got to see your letter in the video. Of course, everything that does get sent into the PO box does make it into the video as well, so I don't just pick and choose certain letters and things that people write in. Right, Maverick says, I can't see why the hard and fast rules. Collecting is collecting, as and when you find a rarer coin, just add it to the previous book. No odds to most people that it wasn't found live. I guess so, yeah. I mean, like I always say, I've got my own sort of set of rules for the videos, but this isn't the handbook for coin collecting. I'm not telling anyone how they should and shouldn't collect coins. I know lots of people that collect every single commemorative they've ever found, and that's totally cool. That's up to them. I pick and choose what I keep, and the rest goes back to the bank so I can get more coins out. But in terms of the books, it's more just for the flow of the videos. What I really like is having episode 1 and then the final episode in the run. I don't like I mix. I would call it double dipping when if you finish a book halfway through a bag and then you immediately start the next book during that bag. I think it sort of muddies the water as to, well, when did book number 7 start? If that started in episode 262 of the previous book. I like having those definitive start and ends. So it's just how I like to do it, and if you'd like to do it a different way, then that's entirely up to you to do as and how you wish. In terms of backfilling books, so my first 50p book I think ran up till the 2017 Beatrix Potters, which were coming into circulation but weren't out in circulation by the time I'd finished that book. I have never gone back to add the now missing coins for that album, but I quite like that its start and end date is obviously back in 2017. Must have been quite early 17, I would guess. And you can see the progress of all the new coins that have come out by looking at the subsequent books that have come out. So I'm not with the £2 because we haven't had anything new in circulation with the £2 coins since I've been doing them. But no, I quite like that as well. I thought long and hard about, because I moved them out of the albums that you see in the videos. I put them into flips and into different album pages for sort of permanent storage. And I've thought about getting like different coloured flips for the additional ones. But I was like, no, but it's quite nice that's how I finished the book. Although it's now no longer complete because lots of other coins have come out into circulation since completing that first book. It's quite nice. That was the end point for that book, and I've moved on to the next book, and hopefully the books will get longer and longer and longer as more get put into circulation. Well, hopefully, it's not something that happens all the time, but yeah, I don't think it constrains. I would say I would still be hunting through the same bags of coins regardless. So yeah, that's just the way I like doing it. And I get loads of people say, well, why don't you just start another book when you get getting down to the last few and have them running concurrently, a bit like with these 10p's, but I think they'll get a little bit messy and I'd end up with 1,000 books with the Benjamin Bunny in it and nothing else. But yeah, it's just quite nice to do it the way that I like doing it, as I'm sure you do with your collections. Right, Anthony Palmer says, are some of the alphabet coins scarcer than others in the same year? Not for the 2018s, they all had the same mintage, which was 220,000 each, something like that. It was, or 240,000, 250,000, something like that. It was around that figure. They all have the same mintage. The 2019s, however, yes, they have varying mintages. Some of them are unbelievably low. Actually, all of them are low mintages, but some of them are unbelievably low compared to, say, the 2018 sets. So yes, only within 2019 they have different mintages, and my rubbish brain couldn't tell you which ones are which. So go look at the Royal Mint's mintage pages or on New Mister and find out how many of each were made. David Jeffrey says, do you have any books that you are filling up with your duplicates, or do you put the collectibles back in circulation? The vast majority of coins I put back into circulation, back to the bank, so I can get more coins out. Otherwise I would have no money at all if I kept every single commemorative I ever found. The ones that I do keep I put into coin flips, and I've got these wonderful trays. They're about the size of a piece of A4 paper and just a little bit deeper than one of the coin flips, and I can nicely fit into all the different in rows all my flips, and they fits about 6 rows of flips, and I've got a fair few boxes of those. That's how I keep the ones that don't go into the books. As I said, the books I empty out the books, put them into flips and into different album pages that hold coin flips for the permanent storage. Gibbo says, alright mate, I'm not a coin collector personally, but the YouTube algorithm brought me to your channel. I'm glad it did. Love the knowledge and passion for coin collecting, and thanks for the content. My question is around the digitization of commerce in the UK. I personally can't recall the last time I purchased something with physical currency. Do you worry that this trend will have a negative impact on coin collecting in the future, or does it not worry you? Or indeed, do you see any potential positive impacts of the future of coin collecting? So yes, I get this question every now and again. Am I worried about the cashless society? Not immediately. I don't think we're going to be cashless anytime immediately. It was only a few years ago the government were mooting around the idea of getting rid of scrapping the penny and the 2p coin, and the whole country went bonkers and they totally went, oh, okay, well, hands off that, we'll just let them carry on using their pennies and 2p coins. And I think if you can't get rid of those coins, you're never going to get rid of the rest of coins that do actually get used. So yeah, I'm not immediately worried about it, and even if we do go cashless, the Royal Mint will still make coins, and I have mixed opinions on it. Say, if we look at the £2 coin, for example, no £2 coins have been put into circulation, at least commemoratives, since 2016. And we've had a couple of other commemoratives, a couple of other definitives that were minted, but nothing extraordinary. So the chance of getting a new £2 coin put into circulation, I think, are very, very slim at the moment, because there's still 2020, whatever year it was, I can't remember now, that was meant for circulation. No one seems to find them in circulation yet, so they're at the Royal Mint in their long store waiting for demand. So eventually those are going to filter out, but until those start filtering out, there's no need to backfill with some more new commemoratives or the new definitive coins. So the Royal Mint have still produced commemoratives though over those years. We only get normally 2 or 3 £2 coins a year. But I think it's important that even if there isn't demand for coins to go out into circulation, that we still celebrate and mark the occasions of the anniversaries of great people, institutions, world events. Like we had the VE Day anniversary this year. Unfortunately, sorry, it's just a very weird number that buzzed once on my phone. It was the VE Day anniversary. Of course, the Royal Mint has to mark that. It was a really big anniversary of a really major event in our history. Even though the 50p that they produced didn't go into circulation, or at least doesn't seem like it's going to be going into circulation, it would be crazy for them not to mark that, right? And so I still think it's important the Royal Mint keep making coins to celebrate these or mark these big occasions, institutions, people, whatever it has to be. I'd share the frustration though that I would prefer, and I do actually believe that the Royal Mint would also prefer to put all the different coins that they make into circulation. Unfortunately, it's not entirely in their hands as to what gets put into circulation. The Treasury has some say on this as well, because they forecast with banks and cash centres what sort of demand there will be. However, it is then down to the Royal Mint to persuade the Treasury to put things in circulation, because I'm an adamant believer that minting even in small numbers, 100,000, a couple of 10,000 of each coin, will really help the sales, because part of the enjoyment of collecting is being able to find them in circulation. You can find a Kew Gardens 50p in circulation, and it's a rare coin that's unlikely to come across. But look at the value of one of those BU Kew Gardens 50p's compared to, I don't know, a recent Snowman 50p. There is definitely value in coins being in circulation, in addition to that I don't think will harm the Royal Mint's ability to sell those coins. And I think it's really important because it grows coin collecting. Many of you, I myself, it takes one interesting coin to come out in your change that can lead you down the path of collecting, and then you start buying BUs, you start buying silvers. If your pockets are deep enough, you start buying gold stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I've moaned about this for a long time, and it seems that no one is listening. But I'll keep prattling on to those that will listen, that will stop long enough for me to tell this too. But yes, I would love for everything to go into circulation. I think the Royal Mint would love to put everything in circulation. Maybe they can do a better job of persuading the Treasury that it's a good, sound financial investment to do so. That's down to them though. Anyway, I've prattled on far too long on that last question. Let's get back to the coins and see what I found. Well, that wasn't exactly fruitful, but we did get a couple of finds at least. Two from Jersey. This one from 2006 and the other one a bit earlier, 1992. A very good vintage, if I say so myself. We got two different portraits of the Queen at least. Arnold Mason's second and Ian Rank Broadley's fourth. So there we go. We're not empty-handed, but no alphabet 10p. I don't think we found one last week either. So we're 2 weeks and into our dry streak. Let's hope the next Saturday we find ourselves an Alphabet 10p. But if you have been luckier than I, and you found yourself an Alphabet 10p recently, then let us know in the comments what letter you found. Just reassures myself and others that they're still out there and worth looking out for. And as usual, there is links in the description of this video across to my coin collecting Discord server if you'd like to come and join me and other coin collectors over on that. There's also links to my other social media channels, the PO Box address if you'd like to write into me, and of course a link to the Britannia Coin Company's YouTube channel, the company I work for as my day job, so please check them out too. All it leaves me to do now though is thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you next time for more coins. Bye.